Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. Happy Friday, TGIF. I'm excited to have Kelly Astro back on the show with us. We're going to talk about how community partnership schools change the entire game in education. Welcome back, Kelly. How are you today?
I am good. It is so fantastic to be back with you, Ted.
I'm so excited to have you. I know it's a long time coming. And since the last time you were on the show, you've had a change in your career, a little bit of a new change, something new going on. And we want to hear all about that. And of course, we definitely want to hear about community partnership schools, because I think that is something a lot of people don't know about and don't understand how important and critical the whole program is. So before we take a deep dive into that, though, tell them a little bit about you.
Well, I currently am serving as the Children's Home Society Community Partnership School Director for Evans High School. It is a mouthful. But I have spent my entire career in education, both in K-12 and in higher ed, working with at-risk student populations, Title I schools, and I feel like I have come full circle into this position with Evans High School, with Children's Home Society. And, I've always talked about the fact that what I love to do is to work with programs that build villages around students.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate village.
I love that. And I love the fact your life has been dedicated to education. Was that originally the plan? Did you decide early on, I want to do that? How did this become your life's work?
It's funny. I think part of I would never admit this to my father, because he has been in higher education my entire life, his career. My mother has also been in the nonprofit sector with education organizations as well. I started out in college, physical therapy major. I was going to go that route, and soon discovered that was not organic chemistry, was not for me.
Many people have been stopped there.
Yes, tried my hand a little bit with business and realized that education really was a place where I could make an impact. And I think my entire kind of career trajectory changed as a result of a wonderful woman who at the time was the dean of the College of Education at UCF, Mary Palmer, who had me going to one of the most wonderful schools in Orange County, Pine Lock Elementary, for an internship. And that basically changed my whole path to always want to work to provide opportunities for college access for Title I students.
What was it like at Pine? What was Pine Lock like? That was the change. What was the catalyst? What specifically there and about that internship really opened your eyes to what you wanted to do?
I think the fact that what I saw at a very young age was, you hear all of these things about, tough schools and schools where students are struggling, and students where students are coming from homes of poverty and a lot of, challenging, traumatic experiences. What I encountered was every child in my classroom wanted to learn. They were excited. They wanted opportunity, and they didn't have that exposure to different things in the world, different careers, different ideas. And so what that taught me was very, very quickly is every child, no matter what their zip code, no matter what their circumstances, if given the right tools and the support network, can have the opportunity to succeed. And so in every path that I took after that, whether it was working in higher ed, but still working with service learning programs that targeted Title I schools, or working in running the Horizon Scholars program, at-risk mentoring program for high school students, that was always at the forefront of my mind. If we provide opportunities and resources, the access is going to come for those students because they're going to be prepared.
Agreed. But I love that work. I think it's so critical. I think there's so much going on in the world, and that kind of leads me to my next question. From your time at Pine Lock, where you started your journey, to now, what's different in the education field? What are you seeing? It's always talked about. There's a lot in the news in our state, not going there today, but what are you seeing as an educator, as a proponent and advocate of your programs in the education system right now?
I think that obviously we could probably spend hours talking about this. As economic situations grow, further and further apart, and we lose that middle class, more and more of our students who are in those economically disadvantaged neighborhoods are having more and more struggles. And we're seeing issues of virtually every school you're going to walk into are going to have food pantries. They're going to start to have, opportunities for students who might need clothing. You're going to need, parents who might need job training and GED classes. And those, I think there's a lot of external support that is needed. It has moved from, I think, solely being really about the academics. And it's now kind of moved into a focus of we really have to take care of the whole student.
Yes,
And
the well-being of the whole student.
Yeah, and really nurturing that whole student. If you can't, if you are feeling sick or if you have a toothache, you can't focus on learning. And if you don't have access to a doctor or a dentist, then that problem just continues to be an issue for you, and therefore your grades go down.
We could spend hours. I'd love to do a whole educational series, which I will talk to you about after this. All right, now to the main event. Let's talk about community partnership schools. Tell us about that. Give us the background. And I think a lot of people, we had a lot of questions before we went live. People didn't even know what a community partnership school was, and they don't even know where they are in our Central Florida area. So tell them about community partnership schools, and specifically, of course, about what's going on at Evans.
Absolutely. Well, community partnership schools, I do believe, is one of the best things that is going on in education right now. Now, granted, I'm a little biased because I'm working with them. But about 10 or 12 years ago, an idea was born out at UCF within the College of Health and Public Affairs. And in partnership with Children's Home Society, they began to create a model that was based off of ideas such as the Harlem Kids Zone up in New York, that really provided a network of resources and support around students in a far more holistic manner that would then be able to support students both in and outside of the classroom. So one of the things that community partnership schools attempt to do is to take some of the things that students will arrive in their classrooms with, whether that's hunger, whether that's housing insecurity, whether that's they don't have school supplies, and take that out of the teacher's hand and be able to support those students through what we refer to as our hub, which is kind of a centralized location in the school where students can come for all kinds of needs. Community partnership schools, then, there is the model that really focuses on 4 pillars of collaborative leadership, where we have lots of people from our community involved in kind of the direction of where it's going, supporting it. Expanded learning, which provides enriching educational experiences both in and after. So really and extracurricular programming and college readiness. Our family and community engagement. So we have initiated programming with parents as well as our mentoring program. And then, of course, the thing that I think differentiates us from every other program that you might find or model within a school, it's our wellness support. We here at Evans actually have an on-campus clinic with our partners, Orange Blossom Family Health, that provides medical and dental care for our students free of charge.
Wow.
Which is amazing. So, actually yesterday we had 25 of our students seeing a dentist on campus. They don't have to leave. Doesn't matter if they have insurance. And so many of our kids, these are students who in some cases haven't seen a dentist in 2 years or ever. It is an amazing thing when they walk out of there and they're like, okay, my mouth is a little numb, but wow, I'm going to be able to see a dentist all throughout my years here in high school. So going back though to your original question about kind of where community partnership schools are and kind of how we've grown. So 10 years ago, Evans was created. We are the flagship community partnership school in the state. There are currently 29 community partnership schools across the state of Florida. 22 of them have Children's Home Society is the core nonprofit organization partner. And that's every community partnership school has to have a nonprofit, a medical partner, an institution of higher education, and of course the school district. So in Orange County, there are 4. We have Evans, Jones High School, OCPS ACE, which is a K-8, and then Eccleston Elementary.
It's amazing to me. As I'm sitting there listening, I'm thinking, in the old day, when I went to school in the Stone Age, the kids who, it was a very small group of kids who would have outwardly needed the service. There was always a stigma attached to it. Kids can be not so kind to each other. And I have educators who've come on and shared stories about how the kids picked up the free food to go home for the weekend, and then somebody made fun of them, and you could see the food strewn across the yard. There was a big stigma there. Yeah. Are you finding that the stigma is going away because the need is growing and it's impacting, you kind of alluded to this earlier, impacting more and more students? Are you seeing any kind of challenges as far as the stigma among students goes?
I'm going to say yes and no. So, of course, in high school, no matter what you do, there's always somebody who's going to just kind of hassle you about something because you're 15, 16 years old. One of the things, and I have to give a great amount of credit to our principal, Mr. Rolando Bailey. When I started 8 months ago, our food pantry, which has now been renamed the Trojan Market, we are the Trojans, was actually way out by our athletic fields. And we did not see a lot of utilization of that as a service. And so, I approached him and said, can we move this into because we are located in the main administration building, can we move it into a space there? And he, without hesitation, said yes. And so I think by moving it in, we have seen that students realize that this is actually something that is supported and encouraged, and it's not something to be ashamed of. We have in our Trojan Market, we provide food, clothing, school supplies, toiletries. And, this is something that we see. I think we had over 2,000 uses of our Trojan Market this year alone. And, it is one of the things that we are just launching as a pilot. And I know it's almost the end of the school year, but it's taken us a little bit of time it's not quite where we want to be at, but we're almost there. Is an ordering system similar to, we want to get it to a point where it's almost like an Instacart, where students or families can actually log on. So if anyone out there wants to help us make an app, we would love to have your help. But
I love that pitch. Very good.
But right now they're using just a Google form where they can go on and fill out, I want 2 cans of beans and 5 cans of this. And then we will have it prepared for them at the end of 7th period. They can come pick it up in a bag that is not, clearly a grocery bag, and they can take it home. And so that's something that, we're really working on, but we've also seen a huge utilization of the market for clothing, students going for interviews and they want, some dress clothes, things of that nature. But yeah, it's a remarkable thing to see that's a little bit of a change where students are now seeing this as a true resource for them and not as something to be embarrassed about and kind of hiding as they walk in.
I love hearing that, because that was, I feel like, always such a deterrent, because kids, again, can be, they're under a lot of pressure. And so peer pressure, in addition to everything else. All right. So in addition to the app maker, and I'm going to reach out to a few for you that I know, how can people get involved? What is the best way for us as a community to support the community partnership schools?
Well, I think, community is in our name. So this is everything that we do is really, focused on developing very, very unique and reciprocal community partnerships. So I was talking with somebody yesterday. There is no, there are so many different ways that people can get involved. And so whether that's as, I want to work with students and serve as a mentor. I want to, we have our college and career conversation series where people can come in and talk about their career paths with a group of students. We have opportunities for people to assist with our Trojan Market. And maybe if they wanted to do food, clothing, or school supply drives, because, even though everything always happens at the start of a school year or around the holidays, in October and in February, we still need school supplies and we still need food. But so that's another way that people can get involved. They can also, come out and be a part of some of our volunteer events, our Trojan Service Day, our, helping with college applications for students. We have tutoring programs that are available, after school enrichment programs. So, I mean, there is, if somebody is interested, and we also have, I should say, a community leadership council. And so this is a group kind of like a board, but not nearly as formalized. And it's more about people who are really interested in kind of getting their hands in and making some change and being able to, whether it's sponsor an event or open a door to something, or, we had Coca-Cola Beverages Florida, who just donated some laptop computers that were awarded last night. In addition, and I have to say, in addition to beverages for our entire Trojan Service Day a few weeks ago. But so there, if people are interested in kind of doing it from maybe not being on the school campus, but kind of a little bit distance, but really want to make an impact, that's a great way to get involved as well.
Well, I would love to, and I'll talk to you after.
Very good.
I will post the link to the website link. The URL is a little long.
Yes.
But if it's clickable, it's super easy. And I'll do that in the comments. Kelly, you're amazing. I just think all of the work, the energy, the positive energy that you put out there, it's so refreshing and wonderful, because education, my wife was a teacher, it can be draining on the soul, the spirit, the body. And to have somebody as amazing and as energetic and positive as you, I love what you're doing in our community. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the things CHS does. My wife, as you know, was adopted from CHS. Back in the Stone Age. Sorry, babe. And so I'm a big proponent of all that you do. And you all are always asking me for ways to get involved. Here's a great way to make a long-term, short-term, and long-term impact on the lives of these students. And in return, you're going to see that ripple effect in their families and the rest of the community. Thank you, Kelly, for being here.
Thank you. And hey, Ted, can I just add one last thing? When you talk about outcomes and impact, this year, our students at Evans, fingers crossed, we are on track to have at least a 90% graduation rate for our students this year, which is absolutely due, certainly to our fantastic and amazing teachers, our resilient students, but it also is because of the impact from our community partners working with our community partnership schools. So, come on board and let's get that to 95% next year.
Let's help out. All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Have a great Friday, everyone. We'll see you back here soon.